Welcome back to episode 10 of A Standard Moon Start. In the previous episode, we just got done and made a little expansion to the base, and we are back in. We're going to put a set of lockers out there. Now that we expanded the platform out there, we got room for a third set of lockers, so we'll go ahead and take care of that. I'll wait for that to print. Well, switch out our tanks and track down our headlamp here. Toss those over there, remind us to install those later. So in editing the previous video, I decided I didn't like the location of that sensor, so we'll take it down here. That frees up the roof area, which can be useful for lighting and other type of stuff. Just get that off there. Do that on both sides. Clean up the wiring. Okay, we just need a power and go ahead and set the data ports on the housing. We're going to give them the long names as we did before. Let's speed this section up a little bit. So I'm running this at 3x. I'm just giving the same names as I did before when I did the first setup above. We'll name the transformer since that's available on the main net. We'll name all these, and then we'll go back and with the fancier names, we'll go ahead and set the data ports on the housing. Now, since it's all within a transformer circuit, it makes it really fast to set the data ports. One of the primary reasons I start using transformers a lot more. If not, then I'm scanning through a ton of items trying to figure out what's what, and this just makes it all so much easier. Get it all set, turn it on. Of course, we're going to need some power. All right, so we're done with the 3x part. Not sure why I pulled that out. All right, so we need to run power down here, so it's probably let's go upstairs and start from that point. And now that trench there, I can actually run it down within that trench. That gives me an option of power. So like I can run it down the trench. I've actually decided to go ahead and run it outside. The reason for that is I want to switch the power over to something else later on. If it's running on the outside, it makes it easier to put a different power system, like a different large, one of those big station batteries down there with its own power situation, and not try to run everything off the main base. And once that's set up, at some point I can then disconnect this wire right here, but it makes getting power into that room easier because I would have the cable already on the outside. Now for the other side downstairs, I'll just run a cable across inside, but probably the same thing at some point. If I add additional power, I'll go ahead and put power on both sides of the base and run each half on its own power supply. Forgot about my lockers I need to install. We'll do that on the way out. I need to zip out and run that cable down the frame. A little more roomy out here. Make sure I have the right direction. I've been known to put those in backwards. So now I check. Okay, we're just gonna snake this down, and hopefully at some point we can pull this out. We'll see what comes up. While it's pressurizing, I go ahead and look around, see if I need to swap out batteries or anything. And got more cables. Probably should have grabbed those cables. We'll run these down. You notice it's slightly faster now. We're just gonna run the cable all the way down and then across the other side, and probably something that's not running out of cable. So back up here, grab that cable. Took my suit off since I'm inside a little bit. Get some more cables printing, and we'll turn that on, and it seems to be working. And we're going to snake cable down here. Once again, at some point we add power, we'll just separate these connections. And okay, so I have one of those systems running. I haven't had the other one wired up yet, so I can turn this all off. And I turned off the computer, so now it's on manual mode. And what I'm doing is I am dumping all the gas out of the pipe. The last thing I want to do is turn the system off, let it sit, and those outside pipes will just, turn liquid, maybe ice up, and then break. But I'll manually pump them, which is kind of neat. You can just turn off the computer chip, IC chip, and then run the whole thing manually if you wanted to. Now we'll zip these across. Yeah, I've been interrupting my printing, I think, when I connect these cables up. All right. And make sure it's got power, it's on. Everything looks happy. It all looks happy over here. And we'll flip this on, and nothing happened. Guess why that's wrong? Yep. Okay. I'm pretty good about checking this, but obviously in this case I missed it. All right, so we'll just get this in the right place. And crank it back up. That's overkill. Turn it on. All right, the system kicked in. And they're happy. Now, I'm looking at these two systems. One's running, the digital valve is open, and the other one is not. Okay, something very, very important, which at this point in the video I forgot about. The values, when you hover over, are rounded. So when that temperature says 298 Kelvin, it could be 298.4. It could be 297.6. Between that, it's rounded. You need to use the configuration card to get the actual values. So because they're rounded, and because the way the system works, and the temperature is very close. And given the size of this room, it's easy for one side of the room to be slightly different temperature than the other. Specifically when one side's running, because when one side's running, it's going to drive the temperature of that side a little lower. So I'm here looking at this, wondering why it's not working. And the reality is both systems are operating correctly. There's no mistakes anywhere. It's the same code. I didn't screw up on the programming. The bug here is trusting the debugging output, which in this case is hovering over the sensor. And so, and this is actually a real problem in software development, where you can look at code and if the debugger itself is not fully functional, you may trust the debugger a little too much and realize that it's not your program, it's actually the debugger. Now that's rare that happens, but it is a scenario that has happened. In this case, I'm using the hover over the sensor to look at that number, and I'm thinking that number is, if it says 298, it's 298 exactly, and I figured about the floating point number. So the reason why I'm kind of stressing this is, if you're looking at the displays, and especially with floating point numbers, realize the values you're seeing when you hover are all rounded. And so you either have to pull the numbers out with an IC chip and put it on a display, a large display, to see the full value. And I believe in this case, for like the gas sensor and the analyzer, if you put a configuration card in your tablet and view it, you will see the full numbers in there. And then it would make sense. If I had that, it would make sense. But at this point, I kind of forgot about that. And trusting displays or forgot that it was rounded. So I'm going back and forth. I'm going to speed this section up. So I'm running at 3x, and this section consists of me double checking everything, running upstairs, maybe dumping more CO2. I do turn off the other system and take it apart. So I'm just putting load in the system, double checking everything again. Now it takes a while for the gas to move around. Dump some more in here. Takes a lot to get this room hot. Okay, that system is empty, so we're done with it. Okay, this turned on. That's what we want. I'm looking at that. And this side is actually, I had it flipped off. Now it's turned on. They're both on right now, so they're operating correctly. So I'm going, okay, well, let's just ignore it for now. Take this other one apart. And since I had the section speed up, we'll just keep it going. I'm just disassembling the old one. And we'll just keep it 3x for now, since you've probably seen things being removed before. I have my little stacks. I have, electrical stack, gas plumbing stack, liquid stuff, gas, and then miscellaneous, like chutes in the far corner there. Let's clean up the wiring, make it look pretty. Okay, at least it frees up some of the spots in the middle. Okay, we're back to normal speed. Go ahead and top off this O2 tank. Yeah, downside was this design, so when I turn on that O2 injection, it fills that bottle too. It's one of those good enough type setups that I plan to replace at some point. And we're back down here again. We're going to 3x this a little bit. I just kind of look at everything. I keep hovering over those. I think what I finally do is I look at the code at some point, and I saw the floating point. I have 297.15. That's when I realized, oh, those displays are rounding. All right, I think I've beaten that horse enough. Let's make some food here. More French fries. Yum yum. All right, we got seeds and we got, yeah. Okay, so the technique I'm using the hold down the Alt key. When you hold down the Alt key, you can quickly, you don't have the animation anymore. And this was suggested by one of the comments 2 episodes ago. Actually, I forget if it's for the moon scenario or for the Vulcan scenario. One of the scenarios I was commenting that if you hold down Alt key, you can avoid some of the animation. And so I kind of pick one spot and I hold the Alt key and then start clicking around for all the seeds. I'm going to speed this section up too. So this is at 3x. We'll just go ahead and basically we're going to collect all the wheat seeds and all the wheat and then replant and store the seeds away. We've got plenty of seeds to restart if we have to. And then I'm grabbing all the wheat and replant using wheat instead of a seed. Then I'll go ahead and make flour with that. I actually don't do anything with the flour in this episode. I can make cereal bars with the flour, but I do run it through the processor and just store it. And even 3x, yeah, I gotta get robots going on for this stuff. All right, let's go ahead and make some flour. We got a lot of wheat, so it's gonna take 2 cycles here. And we'll just dump that flour into the oven. There must be, is there a way to automate this? Is there a different reagent processor so you can like have robots throw stuff in it and have flour come out? I didn't see it anywhere. That's interesting because that would be a slight issue. We can't make bread using automation, have big stacks of bread coming out. That's no fun. You can see it a little faster now. I'm starting to question my concept of high density farming. I'm thinking now, given I have plenty of room, is actually maybe have like 2 rows and a blank row and 2 rows and a blank row. And then, be easier to do it from the edge than trying to crawl through this stuff. So I think, at least for this section, which is the manual section, I might just break it up in a future episode so I can get in there and not be so packed in. All right, we're gonna make some canned French fries. Just because we can. Now, we already loaded this up with steel cans before, and this time I split the oil in half, or we'll split the oil in half, or just split the oil in half. So I put, because once you make the oil, it doesn't appear you can actually split it at that point. So you gotta do it while you have the soy. So you got half goes in for French fries, half goes in for canned French fries. And some high-speed gardening here. Yeah, definitely going to reorganize this into spaces between them. So probably have like 2 rows of wheat, a blank row, 2 rows of soy, blank row, and 2 rows of potatoes, which is a ton of food. But on the side benefit, it will generate O2. I'm trying to avoid trading in this series. I really don't need to trade for anything. I have, with the French fries, I can get plus 75%. So trading for more seed doesn't really, I get the ferns, but I can just overcompensate with more other plants, which is fine. And and there's plenty of episodes with trading in it. Sure, you've seen that a million times. So we're making baked potatoes, and we're taking advantage of the fact that the 2 are next to each other, so they pop out of the oven into the packaging machine, since baked potatoes are consumables. One interesting thing, look at recipes in the automated oven. It says potato. It doesn't say baked potato. So I'm there trying to feed raw potatoes into the packaging machine. But it makes sense, the packaging machine doesn't actually cook, and you can't use raw potatoes for French fries. So on the other hand, it is cooking, because to make French fries you need potatoes and oil. So obviously the packaging machine must be cooking to some degree if it's taking baked potatoes and oil, making French fries and then packaging it, right? I think you would accept French fries and then it gets packaged. So I think it's inconsistent in Does it cook or does it package? Obviously it does a little both. So then it makes sense that it could, in theory, cook the potato into a baked potato before it makes the French fries and all that. So I would call that a bug. All right, so we're going to do some planting. Yeah, I think on the next plant cycle, when I pick stuff, I'll organize the rows a little better on that section. We'll see. So we got everything picked. That's a lot of crap to pick. All right. So what's going on now? Because I voice over, sometimes I forget what I'm up to. All right, so I had to double check the atmosphere. I'll do that a few times just to make sure. We're still running manual injection of CO2. You know, let's turn this all stuff off. We'll go down and look at our wonderful. It's, yep, all happy. The side's running. Still curious why this is on. The other one's off. And we're looking at it again. Look at it again. Now there's a slight temperature variation between the two sides. But of course, I'm not factoring the rounding, so. All right. This is where I figured it out. So I go here and I look at the code. What's going on? And see, 297.15, 299.15. And that's when I go, oh, the displays are rounding. It's all floating point internal. The current temperature is all floating point. It just rounds it when it renders it. So that's what's going on. That's what I figured out within the game when I saw that floating point numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna go outside and do a little base expansion, as I think I said previously. So in this episode, I will, I guess, call it finish up the phase 1 base expansion. So basically I'll have a ton of room. I'll put an airlock in, another airlock in, and so starting next episode I'll start putting in gas processing, CO2 injection, O2 extraction, all that. Start doing that type of work, all automation. And maybe in a few other episodes in the future, I'll carve out a small room for the hatchery, maybe a cold room. But at least the bulk of the base expansion will be done for a while. And it's a pretty good big size, so I'll take a while to get it all filled up with equipment. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that headset into my jumpsuit. I have room there next to the tablet. I lost my labeler moved down. That's why I have the labelers and tool sets. Probably a good place to keep the labels and tool set. I don't need to access that often. So this outer platform is a 5x5, so I'm going to put a matching 5x5 underneath it. So we're going to pull the material out. We're going to put the frames in. Then we'll put the base frames in initially. We'll just let you watch this. And you can back in and stock up, run out of frames. And update our welder battery. It's like, where's my frames at? Okay, we'll have to print some more frames up. Trying to think of what I can do to keep busy here while we're printing frames. I was thinking about, do I go smelt? Yeah, we can do some smelting here. Or mining or something useful. Yeah, I think I'll move that labeler back. I don't use a labeler that often to need it in my suit. Alright, so we're going to do some mining since we kind of waiting for them frames to print. Actually, we do some smelting. Going back on. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Guess what I'm going to do? Why am I just putting in 1 oxide, 2 volatiles before I go mining? Hurry up, hurry up. Yep. I want to get rid of this nitrite, however it's pronounced, and I want to get rid of that. And if I get the furnace a little warm, I can melt it in there, and then goes my tanks, and then I'll sort through it. Now I'll save the nitrogen. I'm dumping the nitrox right now. I have so little of it, it's not worth saving that little bit that may appear. So for now, I'm just dumping it. All right, so I got that out of my inventory. Let's do some mine, turn everything on, and let's go mining. Once again, we're gonna go out far away, or somewhat far away, and look for interesting things to mine. And we're back, and back to normal speed. Have a nice little view of the base. It's starting to get in there. 31 days, wow. That's probably the hardest thing in this whole game, is making your base look halfway decent. Alright, so we found a whole bunch more silver. Once again, digging deep. Finding silver deep down there. Alright, so we're going to do some 3x ore sorting here. So we'll just go ahead. That new locker comes in handy. Throw the empty one in there, remind me to throw it in the furnace. We can pick that up. Grab a little more oxide because I'll be expanding the base again, so I can always just toss it in there and give it a little more volume. Alright, so now we got some more steel. Probably gonna need some more steel sheets. Nope, no steel in there. We used them all up. Okay, so we're running out of steel too. We'll have to make some more of that. print a pile of steel sheets. Oh, I had some steel sheets right there. Forgot to go ahead and dump some oxide in here. Just checking the room, make sure everyone's happy. So I'm going to add another row here of 5. Weld it up, and you notice we're going a little faster now. Alright, we're going to pop out these old iron frames while you have a chance. Clean it up a little bit, and then yeah, gotta make it look pretty. And then we'll just pull the frames out, put in new iron sheets, and first you don't have an issue with like things falling through when the support has been removed. That would add a whole new level of complexity. Would be interesting if pieces required like a frame support, and you remove the frame, then it starts taking damage a similar way pipes take damage when they have liquids in them. So they slowly gain damage and then fail at some point. What I'm doing here is building out the airlock area. I'll probably make that outdoor platform a little larger in the next episode. Got to turn that off. We got plenty of power though. Okay, so we can probably throw the iron frames down in the closet area between floors. And update our batteries. So we got plenty of iron sheets now. Steel sheets, should I say. Oh, I guess we needed those. We're almost out. That should be enough of those for now. And we'll need a set of doors. And then we need to make the set of active vents and passive vents. I should have that passive vents already made. I'm just waiting for the first door to print so I hit the little magic arrow so I don't end up with too many doors. And we need a console. And we need an advanced card. We're going to use an advanced card so I can set the pressure directly, and that works. Then we need a sensor. Yeah, I was just double checking we had the passive vents. Two active vents, and we dumped our inventory out looking for, I think, the electron. So we have to put that stuff back. I should have just broken up the electron in the group of 50 that way. Just feed it as needed and not have to do something like this. Definitely probably worth adding another stacker just for breaking up ingots up. What I do now is I find the least full printer and use it. Just trying to figure out what I need and don't need to do door work. Done with the frames. We gotta put walls up, so we need some frames for the steel sheets for that. Probably have more than enough steel sheets with us. Don't need that. Yeah, we don't too many. Now we just need to get the outer door put in, and then we can, in the walls, and we can put a vacuum in. We can open that space up into the building and then finish the rest from the inside. And I said we'll use an advanced airlock card, which prints pretty quickly. We got our console. We need glass, and we're going to need some plastic. I have the doors with me anyway, so I guess it doesn't really need the glass. That's empty now, so we can just turn that off. Oh, I got to finish welding this up. Let's kick this up a little bit and do some fast welding. As I said, I will make that outdoor platform a little larger. I could have the coordination to hit that small area. All right, so this is my standard airlock, which I haven't really used in this episode, but what I use in the Vulcan series. And that has a lot of airlocks in it. All right, the wall's up. Let's do some, make it look pretty. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, we gotta get a door on there now. Might as well leave some of this stuff that we need later. I was just thinking I should probably put a staircase that goes from the lower section to the upper section in case there's a storm. Well, there's no storms on the moon, but just to have it, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of weird not worrying about storm. It's like, I go, oh, I keep thinking, I need to put up a weather station. Well, that's not going to be very useful. You know, I should put a weather station up anyway, just to do it. Just to say I have a moon weather station. Make people wonder why I have a weather station on the moon. I mean, at this point, it's not like it's all that expensive to make. So here I'm dumping in more CO2, warm it up a little bit, toss a little more oxide in there. I was just noticing that I started with over an hour worth of video, and now I'm down to about 46 and a half after all these speed ups. All right, so let's slap on this outer door. I like composite doors. Yeah, I really need to do a double click. Yep, I gotta remember double click, double click, double click. Okay. Then we'll slap on some glass. Yeah, while we're at it, I'll put the other door in, just leave it open. Okay, just double checking all the walls. I didn't leave any gaps, no holes. Yep, it all looks good. It's real funny here. I took out the wrong wall. Oh yeah, I'm glad that didn't cause a problem. Yeah, that wall. Well, if I had to take on the wrong wall, at least I picked the right wrong wall to take down. So that kind of worked out. You know, you could argue that, you know, I should run ventilation pipes everywhere, but I like the fact that the air has to flow around. I kind of like that effect, you know. You know, I cool the air in one place and it circulates around, you know. Like I inject hot CO2 on the first floor, and the floor down here cools it, and that heat moves around, the gas moves around, and all that. So I think it's kind of a cool effect. So, and you know, it's not instantaneous, but it's fast enough that, I mean, look at the temperature. It's 24. I mean, even with the design, it's maintaining a reasonable setup. So I gotta, run power down, get this door and stuff powered up and the vents powered up. And the same as before, I should get a battery up here and run all this independently, but that's down the road. And this is my standard airlock design. If you watch the Vulcan series, you see this over and over and over. Pattern I always use. Run these across. Maybe not the most optimum cable-wise, but cables are pretty cheap at this point. Yeah, it's not going to work because we didn't connect it. And definitely don't want to push that button now. Yeah, I should have put both doors up and just welded them, but no biggie. I could have my suit off right now. Unfortunately, I left my data card upstairs. Up the staircase. I got finish that floor too. Oh, the console. And do I remember the data card at this point? Let's see. Nope. Put some glass on it. Give all the components a pretty name. Yeah, after this episode, I will go, or after this, just missing the data card, I'll keep the data card in my tool belt from now on. So, and we'll just increment the airlock number. This first one was number 1, this is number 2. Now this area should have a lot less stuff. Shouldn't have anything laying around on the floor, so there shouldn't be any problems with the door opening and having the full blast of gas coming in. There should nothing be flying around. Yeah, at this point, I go, I need that data card, and it's right there. And now I should put a hole. A place where I can just jump straight down and not have to take the stairs down. Sort of a bat pole type of thing. I have room to put one in somewhere. Alright, so let's set these to 0. With the suffixing with 2, I just have to look at the list for ones with 2s in them, which appear to be up above. Okay, so we got exterior, sensor, interior. Okay. Done, and we're hot to trot. And well, you got a lot more room in your base, and everything looks good. Let's go toss in an extra oxide and watch it roll around. And see the little gas particles flowing all around. Kind of cool. Let's try out our new airlock here. All right, so we're about to end of this episode. We're just going to leave this airlock, fly up to the other airlock, enter that, and call it quits. This is a bulk of, we'll call it the phase 1 base expansion. I may maybe that platform a little longer, maybe throw some stairs out here, some minor little things. But yeah, starting next, we put in the air gas processing plant, get that going on that, and move that crap from outside to inside. Until then, see ya.